Hey guys, Sean here. I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who has been tuning into the Play It Up podcast so far. We really love doing this podcast and really appreciate everyone who listens. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Play It Up podcast, and you can watch the full video podcast on YouTube or listen on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Buzzsprout, and more. If you like what we do, please give us a follow, subscribe, comment, like, or review. And if you really like us, please recommend us to other people who might like us. Thanks, guys, and enjoy the episode.
Okay, welcome to another episode of Play It Up podcast. Today we've got a special Australian Kong-Off edition. I'll be your host, Neil Cairns, and today co-hosting with Dennis Edmonds. Dennis, how are you, mate?
Hello, how are you, Neil? Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, good, Chief. First time we're doing a podcast together, so
I know.
yeah,
It's great.
breaking that, popping that cherry as well. And also today our special guest is Sean Tagg. How are you, Sean?
I'm doing well, mate. Not too bad. Thanks for having us on, guys.
Yeah, not a problem.
It's been a while, hasn't it, since we all caught up?
Too long,
mate.
Too long. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. So, yeah, let's jump straight into it, Sean. Tell us a bit about yourself. The first question we ask our guests is about their first gaming experience as a kid. So, what was your first arcade, and what was your first kind of home console?
All right. So, well, originally I'm from the UK, so I spent time as a kid at the seaside, where there's a lot of arcades around Blackpool and Wales, or were the two locations I went to in the UK or around the UK. A lot of arcades there, and my earliest memories are probably there was like a campsite that we used to go to, a caravan site, and we used to go there, and it was an old barn that had loads of arcades in it that the owners of the land had. So they had like 3 Space Invaders there. I remember a Battle Zone and a Missile Command, and they were like really the early memories that I've got of seeing arcades. And they had a few of the old electromagnetic, mechanical games as well. Where you had like the backlit.
Yeah,
like the car games then was something on the screen, and you moved the wheel and the little plastic car moved, and there was like a little track behind the plexi that kind of was like a rolling wheel, and you had to so that really shows I'm starting to get on a bit, doesn't it? Really, it sucks a little bit of my history, really, because
that's cool.
It shows that I'm just tipping over that age there. But anyway, it's always been with me, video games, so that's kind of my earliest memories. Having to stand on a milk crate to get on there and play Battle Zone and things like that. But yeah, love those games. So I will be quite happy to have those today, and I'm sure I'd play them still quite a lot. They're some of my old favourites.
Yeah, right. And what about the home console? Like, was it mainly Commodore 64, I assume, or?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so. My neighbour had a Spectrum, which is something you guys didn't have in Australia, right? It was a ZX Spectrum. He had a Spectrum, and that was. And my uncle had an Atari. He had a Atari 2600 as well. So I remember going around, Christmas with a family, visiting people. We had a night around my uncle's house, and I was just zoned out playing Space Invaders on the Atari console. So yeah, that's like really early like console memories. But yeah, my first computer was a C64. It wasn't the bread bin one actually. It was the wedge. It was a C64C, the wedge shaped one. Right. But yeah, I love that. Love that machine. It was like just taking a little bit of the arcade home and getting to play it. It wasn't always that great, but some of those things, almost felt like the arcade, but they definitely didn't look like the arcade, right?
Yeah, for sure. And did you ever kind of play with like the programming side of things with the Commodore 64 or?
Oh no, nothing major. It was like 10 print, a swear word, 20 go to 10,
Yeah.
and then 30 run, and I'd do that. I'd do that in the local like computer shops and go and do it around all of the computers and like leg it out of there,
Oh, that's rad.
But no programming. Although I did apply for a job at a games company when I left school.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
I didn't get in with Probe software.
Right.
So I was quite into art. So I used to use the Commodore Amiga and their deluxe paint art package. And I sent a disc. Remember sending a disc off to this company, Probe Software. I think they did Turbo Outrun on the Amiga or C64 or something like that, and a few other games. But I did get a reply from them, and they just said, "Oh, at this point in time, we're not interested," which is kind of a polite way to say, "Yeah, got it right."
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So just before we were talking about well, I think it's important that we mention the Arcade Perfect podcast, which is there was a long running series that you did with Darren, and just wanted to say firstly, like congratulations, really, for everything you've done. But the amount of people or I kind of feel like that was like an integral part for like a lot of like the community coming together. So yeah, congratulations. And you've definitely inspired us to do what we're doing now. So
100%.
No, cool. No, very good. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, it was good. It was my first ever effort at a podcast. Daz is a bit of I call him the Aussie pod father.
For sure.
Yeah, like he's had his fingers in a lot of podcast pies, over the years. So he's been doing it with Retro Domination and things like that, and he's done quite a few others. But yeah, Daz was a bit of a natural at it, and it was my first time. And I think Ghouls and Ghosts was actually the first episode we did. Not Ghosts and Goblins, but Ghouls and Ghosts, because they're a couple of my favorite arcade games. But yeah, it was a good show. Yeah, it's something we just kind of conjured up. Daz got hold of me and said, "Look, do you want to do a podcast on computer games and stuff?" And I was like, I think if it was arcade games, then I'd be a bit happier to do it. And Daz and it was like he wanted to do computers, I wanted to do arcades. So over like text and that, we said, why don't we do like Arcade Perfect and look at the ports of the old computer ones, so we can play the computer games, but also we get to dabble in the arcade game a bit more and learn a bit more about the machine, the original game and stuff like that. So yeah, it was really good like that. But sometimes you did games that you didn't like, or you were not keen on. So to get the motivation to do that is always a little bit hard. But sometimes you come out like better off for it with a bit more enjoyment in the game that you didn't really want to play before, and you get to try out some of the old computer ports that I never used to try or whatever. So and it was really good, and I met got a good friendship with Daz and some of his mates through it as well, and so on. So, and the guests obviously that we had on over the it was about 3.5 years, I think, something like that. So we had quite a few guests on and met quite a few people through it. So yeah, that was a really good part of it, really. So
definitely.
I think we did pretty well,
Yeah, how did you run into Darren? Like, have you been long-time friends before the podcast, or was it the podcast the start of your friendship, or?
Yeah, we just met through PAX, really. Through going to PAX. So yeah, I'd hang around in the retro area at PAX. Daz and some of the RD guys, ran the section of PAX for a fair few years, and just kind of bumped into him through that. Mainly through that, yeah. And then we'd have like a bit of a conversation here and there through like text and whatever now, or before, and then it was just out of the blues like, texted me saying, "You got a good experience in games and stuff. You fancy joining up for a podcast?" So I was like, I didn't really. I was a bit scared, a bit scared of doing it at first, thinking, "Oh God, it could be a bit of a nightmare." But it was good. Yeah, it turned out to be really good, and we both, I think we both really enjoyed it. But it just got to the point where it just got a little bit hard, because doing the same thing, trying to inject something a bit different into it over time, it gets a little bit hard to do that. And we had a good run. And like my favourite episode was the Outrun one with Chris White from the UK, who did the Cannonball. That kind of, for me, that was like my best ever episode. It was going to be probably from a game point of view, because I love Outrun so much. And so yeah, and Daz was kind of like getting a bit hard work as well, just to get motivated to get. Sometimes we had to get up really early to do UK guests, and then we do really late ones sometimes. So it was just starting to grind a little bit. We thought, no, cut why we've had a good run at it, and you never know, we might come back with a bit of energy for a special in the future at some point or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a great way to look at it as well. That it's not a definitive end. It means that you can, if something special comes up, then you can still commit to go and doing something after that, and that's a really great thing to do. So
so cool. I think that's pretty good. So and Daz has obviously got his own his new podcast now, which is around his love of more on the computer side. So it's similar to Arcade Perfect, but it's reviewing computer ports of a certain game. So.
Yeah, right. Do you want to give it a bit of a plug? What's it called? Do you know?
Yeah, it's. I'm just thinking. His last one was called "This and That Gaming Podcast" that he was doing as well. Hands-on gaming.
Hands-on gaming,
right?
So,
yeah, hands-on gaming. So he's running that at the moment with another guy, Bastich Bees. That his name is a YouTuber. He's got his own YouTube channel. So they do the audio podcast, and they'll do. Bastich then puts it online as well and does a bit of video backgrounds to it and stuff as well. So those guys, I think they're up to about episode 3, so quite new going and whatnot. But if you're into the computer game side of things, then it's worth a listen. If you like Arcade Perfect, it's got a similar element to it there. So
cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, for sure. It's cool that you ran into at PAX, because I know that Dennis and I will be going this year. Fingers crossed. COVID.
All things being good. Exactly.
Yeah. Have you booked flights yet, or are you hanging on for it?
Yeah. So we're the clan are actually going to be driving down for PAX, because we want to go down to go through Sydney and go and visit everybody in the scene in Sydney as well. So we want to try and plan the trip down and go and see everybody at 89 and the other the new venue that's starting up shortly. And go and meet everybody that we know through the Game the System podcast. Hi everybody there, and it'll be a good trip to go and do that, and then mosey on down to Melbourne after that.
Visit Bartronica maybe and things like that as well. Yeah. Have you been to 1989 Bar before?
No. I haven't had a chance to go anywhere. With the exception of the locals around here in Brisbane, and obviously Spacey's in Toowoomba, host and very good friend of the show. Spacey's.
It's good at 1989 by Ben owns is really good. So I managed to get a work job there for a few days. So I went and visited one night, and had a bit too early of a night there, if you know what I mean. And struggled the next day at this place, but
well worth it. It's fine.
Cover my tracks a little bit.
Yeah, Ben is an absolute legend. Hello, Mr. Ben Campbell, if you're listening to the podcast as well. Good man.
Very good, very good.
So just back on track, we'll hit up what this is about, and that's the Australian Kong Off, which is coming up. So very exciting that it's it's only about a month away, I think, or 30 days, according to your track, Dennis. So so your first Kong Off was the second Kong Off, is that correct?
No, I've been to all of them actually. I did the original one as well.
Right.
That was a bit of a late call because I saw it advertised and there was only about a week
Yep.
to go, and I was like, God, I got the Donkey Kong fever by that point as well. So I was kind of like, I was thinking I was okay. I was getting about 100k at that point in time, right? And so I was like, I should go to this Kong off. I didn't expect to do any good there, but I thought it'd be good fun and meet people and whatever. So I went on my own and booked a hotel and just turned up there, and I met up with some of those guys for the first time. Mainly it had all been online catch-ups, so yeah, it was really good. I didn't make it through. I didn't. Do you want me to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, of course, man.
About what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think back then it was top 8 on the first
right.
one. It was top 8, and I'd had quite a few beers by about. I think the
by 10
cut-off
a.m.
was yeah. I think the cut-off for the last score on the Saturday was around 9 or 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And by that time in Netherworld, there was hardly anybody left there, right? So there was only, I think back then, there was only 4 machines. There was 4 machines in the competition, and most people had gone back to their rooms or apartments by that time.
Yep.
And I was still drinking, so I was loving it being over there. So there was me. I think there was me, Jimmy Nails. Jimmy was actually having to go himself and trying to learn a bit more about Donkey Kong and play it. And everybody else was pretty much gone, right? And they were all watching the live stream back from the hotel. So John McNeil and Johnny Bond and everybody were at the hotel at this point in time because they were all staying together. And they've got the live stream on, and I was having the game of my life.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like coming up to the buzzer, like the limit buzzer at the competition, the qualifying.
Yep.
And John McNeil was 8th. Right.
Yeah.
So he was just into the Sunday. And I think his score was about 140 or 150, something like that. And I got a PB and I kept going and I got to about 130k. So I had a bit of a PB. Last game of the night, and I got to the springs. And the beer, I think the beer level had just tipped over because I was probably still drinking as I was playing.
Yeah.
And the strings just went a bit blurry. And and I lost the life, and I got down to the last man, and it all went blurry, and I died. I lost my last man, but all the guys were texting me as soon as the game finished. They said, "Oh my God, Taggsta, we were watching you. We thought you were going to knock John out of the Sunday and all this stuff."
Yeah.
So it was quite a good laugh actually.
That's brilliant.
I love that your first experience was obviously meeting Jerry Scott and drinking beer.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So
that was the first one, really.
So was that your first experience of like Netherworld?
It was, yeah. It was the first experience at Netherworld. Yeah, I'd never been before. Been to Brisbane quite a few times through work, but I didn't know anything about Netherworld until I saw the Kongoff being advertised. Yeah, so it was really, really good. I think it was the first Kongoff. I think Steve Grunberger picked me up actually from the airport for this one with Richie Knuckles in the back of the car.
Yeah,
so the first, so I landed in Brisbane and jumped in the back of the car, and like Richie was in there. Hey man, how you doing and everything. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, meeting Richie for the first time and everything at the airport and stuff. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And then obviously we went through the first Kongoff, and Netherworld was just it blew me away the first time.
Yeah, for sure.
I went there, I just loved it. So I like that kind of gothic. There's a gothic kind of geekiness about it. Everybody's really friendly. The food's great. The machines were great. So I was in heaven for 2 days. So I think I arrived on the Saturday morning and went and left like midday Sunday. So it was quite a late booking. So I was only there for a day and a bit. Really, I didn't go back there. I went back there on the Sunday for a couple of hours and then had to head to the airport. So I didn't actually watch the final. I had to catch up with it when I got home to see what had happened. So but for a first taste of it, it was enough to get me hooked and want to come back for another another few of them. So
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
yeah.
So you went on your own. That was like you knew nobody else there. Like you probably would have heard
No,
names or about, but not actually met or put a face
no,
to
I
any
don't
of
think
those
I'd
names.
met any. Don't think I'd met anybody at that point in time. It was mainly
Oh,
John McNeil and a few other guys through AA through
Yep.
the main gaming league. So yeah, definitely. I spent probably 3 or 4 years playing the main gaming league on AA, and so I met John and a few other names through that, and that was the only way I was familiar with anybody there really. So, but you know what it's like after a few drinks, everybody's really friendly anyway. There, so
For sure.
you see build up a bit of a friendship, don't you, with people and stuff. So
yep.
100%.
it's great.
So
So
missing out on the first qualifying like that year, did that spur you on for the next year to be a bit more practice and a bit more ready? Or
I don't know. I actually won the competition at PAX, Donkey Kong competition at PAX.
hey,
Hey.
Yeah, on the arcade machine. So that got me. I watched King of Kong, and that got me the bug for playing Donkey Kong a bit more. Then I went to the to PAX, and they had an arcade comp there. And on the Sunday, I don't know, might have been only 20 people gave it a go. I don't know, but I ended up winning that with about 103,000.
Yep.
So that's
Sweet.
it's quite a low score compared to what people generally get. But it was enough to win that, and I think that spurred me on to think, well, if I can win that competition on a Sunday, maybe I can do something at the Kongoff, But there was a lot of good, there was a lot people were at a better level back then.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't as popular either as it's grown to be over the last 3 or 4 years as well.
Totally.
So but yeah, it definitely spurred me on to play it more, and my scores did creep up a little bit in that year because I played it more that year, I think, than I have any other year. So I kind of went from about 130,000, I think. And I think most Kongoffs get a PB, which is a bit strange. So I don't know if it's just the atmosphere or whatever.
Yep.
Well, I always tend to get PBs at the Kongoff, which is quite funny. So quite a lot of people know that as well. They kind of know that.
Yeah.
And somehow I tend to play out of my skin when there's a reason to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
that's all good, mate. You come there to play. That's great.
that's right. So I can't remember what I got the second year. I think it was close to 200,000, maybe.
Yeah.
Year two. And I think that was. Oh no, actually, no. I think that might have been the year that I did pretty well against Alan.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, it was 300 and something. I came out of there with 300 and some thousand, I think.
Yeah.
When I was playing Alan.
Unfortunately, I lost my stat sheet, but I did a bit of research into it. I'm pretty sure. So you qualified. You came back for Kongoff 2, and you qualified well in Kongoff 2, didn't you? You weren't.
Yes. Yeah. I think I was. Was it top 16 then? Wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Top 16. Yeah. And I ended up getting. I think I was maybe 14th or 15th, and Alan was second or third.
Yep.
So I ended up facing Alan in the first quarters, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We had a pretty big game.
Yeah, definitely. So I was watching the footage of this. I actually sent it to you about a week ago.
Yeah, that's right.
From what I have on my records, that is the longest game within the Kongoff head-to-head.
Yes,
battles,
it definitely was. It definitely was then in that one. I don't know if it was after that when we had the Kongoff 3, but yeah, it was definitely the longest game. Yeah, final, head-to-head game, like you say, at that point in time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give up. I didn't want him to intimidate me with his big muscles.
Yeah.
Trying to intimidate, because he's a big character, isn't he? He's funny. He's a great guy. He's a funny guy. He's got a lot of character, and he's probably more well known than a lot of people, right? Through the Kongoff scene. So,
totally.
for being a bit of a giggle, as well as his big score, he held probably a pretty one of the highest Aussie scores for a long time, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
he did.
so close to that million and whatever. So yeah, he's quite a big character to go up against. But I just got zoned a few beers that took the edge off it, and I was kind of got zoned. And it wasn't until I realised behind me there was everything else had finished, and there was a lot of people watching. And I think because Alan's such a big character as well, and there's this other guy who's a bit of a unknown, seems to be. Hold on a minute.
You were
Maybe
the
it's that
upstart.
kind of underdog, right? Is that kind of maybe it's that underdog? It's that little bit of hope that Alan gets crushed. I don't know, but
Yeah,
but
I fully get that because I'm watching on. I remember it pretty well, and because all of the other games kind of ended around like 190, like low 200s,
yes,
and then
yeah.
like all of a sudden there's still this little game happening on the side, and then like the cameras were moved, everything was moved, all the eyes are on you, and to put up a game like that, 370k, it was crazy. It was crazy to watch, and yeah, it was unlucky it came up against Alan because anyone else you would probably had a chance to move through to the next part of the finals.
And that's what I like about the Kongoff. If you look at the games that people play, there's a lot of people who are consistent high scorers in the game, and then there's some of us who are low scorers, some of us who can fluctuate. We can hit quite high, 300,000, 500,000, and then we'll have a bad game or back to 100,000. But you only have to have that good game, right, to maybe pop somebody off who has a bad game, right? And Ethan Daniels, and it doesn't matter if you Shane Sawley or whoever, right? We all have the bad games, don't we? So, even though I don't expect to really win a Kongoff, I go there to think, well, I could actually still potentially, right? If it's on your day, and that person has some bad luck and you get the good luck, it could turn it on its head and be quite an interesting competition. And I think that's always the way with the Kongoff. It throws some a lot of surprises out there, and people have the game of their life that they've didn't expect to. It brings out something in a lot of people, and they have PBs and all that. So you never kind of know who's gonna. You'd expect Tekio to win, right, with his big scores.
Yeah,
you'd expect it this time. If I had to put money on it, I'd put money on him winning it, just through his scores that he's been getting. But you just never know, right? And that's what I love about the game, because the competitions.
You just don't know. Yeah, it's
that's right. Yeah,
levels the playing field a little bit when you mention that someone may have a bad run and someone has the game of their life, and all of a sudden it kind of levels out. And that's awesome.
And that's a great thing about the competition, is you can never really 100% put your money on who's going to win it. So I quite like that side of it.
Yeah. Totally. It's funny you say that, because although like Matt Tekio has surpassed any kind of Australian Kongoff player by like a large amount, like he's like top 10. He's one of the best players in the world. I actually, like, if I was to put my money on someone, it would be Shane, because Shane's experience playing in these competitions and like going deep into these competitions is really strong. And like, so it just puts up that question, like anybody could win,
that's right. And you can put pressure on yourself as well, right? If you know you can do it, if you know you've got the capability of doing it, you've already potentially put that pressure on yourself, which is to can make it quite edgy for you. And I don't know if we're going to talk about Kongoff 3, but I was really disappointed with Kongoff 3 after having that game in Kongoff 2, and it's just the way. You just never know what you're going to get. I'm hoping I get a better game this year, and I don't have a repeat of last year. But
well, let's jump straight into it, Sean. So Australian Kongoff 3 was a little bit different, not in the heart of Netherworld this time, but at the Brisbane Ekka. where we were a bit more on stage for more of like the community or the Brisbane community to see what we had to show. But what was your experience there?
Yeah, Congo 3. I went with a few guys actually. I went with Daz from OK Perfect, which was cool. Daz hadn't been interstate for a long while, so it was a nice. It was like a bit of a holiday for him and a real let your hair down moment, and he really got to. He's not a Donkey Kong player at all, but he went for the crack, and went to
also not a fan of Donkey Kong as much. Yeah.
Yeah. And I went with Greg Pell as well.
Pelly.
So Pelly from Melbourne, he's big on arcade game restorations and so on. So Congo 3 was great in that respect. That 3 of us were there. A bit different to me being on my own 1 year, and the second year we all had an apartment actually, all tied in together, which was a cracking event with cracking place to stay with the American guys, Ethan and Estelle as well. They were all there. Johnny was there, and all the guys quite a lot of the guys stayed there. So we had some pretty big nights there. That was great, which was cool. And then obviously staying with Greg and Daz and that, we made a good long weekend of it. And it was nice. It was good. I kind of like the vibe in Netherworld there. I don't know. I think Netherworld's a great place, and it's got a nice feel about it. It was a bit different, and obviously we got Billy and Walter and visitors and things like that there, which was pretty cool. Which was a pretty cool thing to have at a Donkey Kong event. I mean, they were if you got into it through the King of Kong, then it's pretty mind blowing to see how it all has come about over the years, got to where it did. So that was cool. That was really cool. So I did enjoy that. I did enjoy that side of it, and catching up with everybody again was great. But yeah, the competition was great. I only actually had 2 qualifying games.
Yep. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I couldn't even get on the machine. I didn't even get on the machine. I got on the machine. I had one game that was really bad, and then I got behind somebody. I thought I'll have another go. I had another go, and I got 400 and something thousand go on the second go, which put me above Billy Mitchell, which was great.
Yeah, right.
So I took a photo of that straight away. I thought I'm keeping that. Right. Yeah. When the scores went up and Billy was below me, I was like, "This is." I know it ain't going to stay like that, but this is a keeper, right? This is a keeper.
But for now, I'm above Bill.
Yeah. So I took a quick photo of that, and I've still got it. But yeah, so I got that score, and then I went to have one more go at it, and I can't. Somebody at Neville says, "Oh, no. Let somebody else have a go," because I think they've seen the score and gone, "No, you don't need to go again, right?" For a while. So I didn't have another go. I ended up just hanging out and drinking and just watching the whole thing unfold. So that was it was pretty good just to kick back and watch everybody
else. The atmosphere was
cool. Yes, that was really good. I think it was it Shane who got a kill screen?
Yes.
I remember now. Yeah, Shane got a kill screen, so that was cool, really cool to see that build up and become what it was.
With one credit too. So he's got a bit of a he's got a bit of a gift so he can just chuck in one credit and get a kill screen on Donkey Kong. So
walk
crazy.
Away, job done.
Absolutely crazy.
But that was really good.
I take it the 400k that would have been pretty comfortable at Kong off 3. I think I was close to getting into the 16 with like around the 240k mark. So I
think I was about 9th. I think something like that. Yeah. I think I was 9th and Alan was 8th.
Yeah.
and I was like, no way. I was like, I can't believe I'm going to be playing Alan again straight after, on the Sundays. So, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about Sunday, but I don't know what happened there. I didn't have a beer because it was too early. We kicked off at 11, and I had beer, and I think I just got a bit of an edge, I think. And I on the first, when you lose a man on 1-1, it's either going to go two ways. It's either then you're not going to lose another man for a long while, or the game's going to go downhill very quickly. And I lost a man on 1-1. Already got like thinking, oh my god, freaking out, thinking, what's Phil Day saying right now, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. And and I'm at the end of the right at the end. And it was bloody drafty at that end as well, because it was right where the door was. These are all my excuses. These are all my excuses and reasons now coming out. So, I lost one there, and then I think on the next level on 1-2, or only like one, it was like within a few other stages, a random barrel like zigzag battling, wiped me out again. I was like, oh God. I was at like about 13 to 12,000 or something like that. I'm thinking, oh man, this is a nightmare. And Alan's just look across. Alan's got all his lives and just coasting along. But I think he lost a life quite early on. And then, and I'm thinking, right, no, you've got to just bloody focus and not let it bother you, because you can take one life. I think Johnny Bond, at Bartronic lost all his lives, and from 200,000 he got a kill screen.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
So you can do it, right? And so you only need one good man, right? So I kind of try to get my head back into it, because Alan lost a life, so psychologically thinking, no, it's all right, just keep going. And then I just had I think I was under Kong, and he threw two barrels down and got caught with the second one. I'm like, man. That was not going to happen today for some reason. So I was the first one. Kong off 2, I stood up last. Kong off 3, it was like, no, get back in your box. You're standing up first, mate, and you're walking out. So yeah.
It was funny. I was watching the footage of this of the game that you're talking about, and they actually had your camera with the title of Alan Stahl. So the commentary was all about Alan and what had happened. Like, they were trying to work out if this was like a test run, like if they were working on the machines, or if it was the actual start of the game, or what.
Really?
So one of the experiences that I hope, like, I suppose I'm a bit jealous about, is sitting down on that second day and experiencing what it's like to be in the head-to-head matches, because I kind of feel like there's no kind of more pinnacle moment in arcade than playing head-to-head against someone on genuine cabs, and that sound that you get when everyone pops that first credit and you hear all of the machines go off with the starting music at the same time is just something I hope to experience one day. Can you share that kind of feeling with us, and the nerves that you have of
it is awesome. Yeah, when everybody drops that first coin and hits a button, everybody gets very, very close to being spot on. But you hear that rumble, because that bassy rumble of it all kicking off, and then everybody starts, there's a bit of noise in the background of people, getting into it. So it's really good. It is a great experience. And then I think the first, the 1-1, the first level for me, if I can get past 1-1, if I can get past 1-1 without losing a life, calm down straight away, because I know then I'm okay, right? It becomes a bit more. You can start to control things a little bit more, right? If you get 1-1's a little bit, you sometimes can get a lucky control. Sometimes you just have to time your jumps and deal with what it's giving you. And when you get over 1-1, it's a bit more. You're a bit more in control of the stages. So when I get over that, I feel a lot more comfortable. But like in Congo 3, when I lost one on 1-1 straight away, that gave me quite a bad knock, right? And I was already thinking how well I'd done in the second one, and I wasn't going to live up to that. So it was already a mind game. I was creating a mind game for myself already, causing myself problems, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the beauty of the Congo. I think it's just it's competitive. There's a bit of pressure, but there's a lot of fun and friends catching up. There's drinks, there's arcade gaming. It's just got a bit of everything I like in there, really. So,
Yeah.
that's why I really, really enjoy going to it.
So, how's your lead up to the Kong 4 going? Have you been putting much time in machines? You feeling like after 2 years, I kind of feel like, I was talking to Kibby last week. I think there's 7 players from the original Australian Kong that have played in the finals for each of the Kong past.
Right,
So
okay.
there's kind of like, to me, like there's this real kind of like concrete group that continued to get through, but this year you kind of feel like there might be a bit of a change with a lot of kill screen players, like example Luke Bushell, or Bushell is
he's got a kill screen, hasn't he?
Yep.
There's a couple of Aussies right now in the last year, right? Who've got them. So yeah, definitely. Look, I think that if it was a top 8. Would I get in it? It'd be hard work. I think it would be hard work. You'd have to have I think I'd have to have one of my best games to get into a top 8, top 16. I think I should still get in there, but I don't know if I'd get in there as high as I did last year. I think unfortunately with the whole COVID thing, I've kind of left it. I'm leaving it very late, and I'm thinking I don't want to get excited about it. In case it just doesn't happen, right? Because last year was crushing and all. So I was pretty gutted about it last year. And I didn't want to. I'm still going to be gutted this year if I can't get over there because of it. I booked everything up.
Yeah, I'm too superstitious. I don't even want to think about it.
No, I don't either. Even my wife says I wouldn't get excited about it. I'm like, I can't. I think until I'm on the way to the airport.
Yeah, not until the plane lands in Brisbane. Yeah,
can't really get excited about it. So I haven't played it a lot. I played it quite a bit after the Kong off, and then and I got a PB that wasn't at the Kong off. I got a PB on the cab. Which was 500 and maybe 20,000, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah, nice.
So that was nice. Managed to break the 500. And I felt like I had quite a few games where I didn't lose a life on the springs.
Yep.
And I felt I'd finally got my eye onto the spring level.
Yep.
And that's always been something that's given me a bit of grief.
Yeah.
And I had 3 or 4 big games in the 400s. Out of maybe 6 or 7 games, 4 of those games were 400,000 games.
Yeah.
And I hadn't lost any lives on the springs, and that's why I think my scores kept going pretty well. And then I stopped playing it for a bit, doing other projects and so on. And obviously with COVID and whatever, I've tried not to think about the Kong off too much, just in case. It doesn't happen. So I haven't played it very much at all in the last 6 months, and I actually put it on the last few weekends. I've had a couple of goes on it because when you play it now, I can be on it for 45 minutes to an hour generally, and it's a bit of effort to sit there and then have a game, right, and spend that time on it. So I went on it last weekend, and not very good. And I'm thinking to myself, you shouldn't have left it so long because you've lost your eye on the springs again now. So I lost most of my lives on the springs just trying to get my bloody eye back in and my reflexes back in. And I got like 150,000. So that's not great. But I had a bad game, and then I got 150,000, and I had a few good runs through the springs. So I think if I sit down and probably have 4 or 5 games, I think it is a bit like riding a bike. I think when you've played it a lot, you are a little bit rusty, but it doesn't take many games to get back into that kind of muscle memory flow of it. So I think I'm not going to overdo it, but I will definitely over this next month I'll ramp it up a bit and hopefully feel confident that I'm back in my zone, ready to just give it my best effort, really. So
cool. Yeah.
We'll see how we go.
I'm starting on the same journey at the moment, Taggsta. I've been sort of hovering around the 200k mark at the moment, and I know I can do so much better, but it just, because I haven't been playing consistently, I'm not moving forward with my game. So I guess hopefully over the next few weeks I can get a few more games in and start to sort of push that a little bit, because I don't think I've got Buckley's chance with that score at the moment with the talent pool that we've got now. So
look, in a head-to-head, it could be right. It could be enough in a head-to-head to knock people out, but to qualify, you it could be hard. 200.
Oh yeah.
People have
100%.
there's quite a lot of people are getting up there and perhaps beyond at the moment. And
there's a selection of people, of Aussies now, that can kill screen, and like you both mentioned, that there is even a couple extra in the last 12 months that have now reached that point. There's another couple again that are very close to kill screening at the moment. So
you're right.
Competition, man. And
I think when you get to like the 400, 300,000 to 400,000, you've got a few mistakes to iron out. And when you've ironed those out, I think you can start to get when you get to 400 to 500,000 plus, I think you've kind of ironed out and you know what most of the pitfalls are in the game. And it's just really then about keeping it all together and not making stupid mistakes and not having just some nightmare situations, right, that you just struggle to really get out of. But I think at 200,000, you've got it right. You've kind of got you know what's going on, and you know what you've got to do almost. I think 200,000, and then it's just kind of repeating it and dealing with those, looking at where you are dying and looking why it happened and trying to counteract it with a different approach slightly. So I know for me now, my real two problem areas, under Kong on stage, just on the barrels.
On the barrels, yeah.
Under Kong is where I would lose most of my lives previously, and the springs. And if I get both of those things right and I'm focused on them, that's when I can get a 400,000-500,000 game. Right. So I've just, they're my two kind of hotspots. So I have to just, if I can keep on top of them, I can kind of zone out and just, it is like a drug. I find it's like a drug. I can zone out in this game and just enjoy it when I get into like a rhythmic. It's like a rhythmic thing with the noises and whatever. I don't know. I just I zone out into a like no other game gets me in this kind of state. So that's what I really like about it.
Yeah. It's funny how much of a mental battle this game is. I've over the last 2 weeks, I've had these two really good starts. I had my first man was 350 on one of them, and my controller ended up playing up on me at 490 and like completely wiped out that game. But just yesterday I had a game at my first man was 390,000, and then as soon as I lose that first life, like there's something that happens in my head, and I was all out for 460. So like, what happens after that is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, and I've had the same thing as well, where I was getting those 400,000 games quite regularly, and I got I think I was at between 350 and 380,000 on my first man, right? And I'm already thinking, kill screen.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I've got it. I've finally got it, right? This is it. This is just, I'm in the groove. Nothing can go wrong, right? And by 420,000, it's game over. And I'm like, I can't believe what happened there. And I'll lose two lives on the same stage, right? I'll lose that first man, and I'll lose the second man even on the same board. And I'm like, wow, this is crushing.
That happens to me with that does happen to me with barrels. I think barrels I can lose, like I can be going so well, and then just one barrel board I can do in 2, 3 men, and you just it just gets nasty on you. And little you can do. And once, like what Neil said, once you get in that mindset where you get one run off the board, straight away you start sort of thinking, oh, okay, I've got to change my game up or something, and you get lost inside your own head, and then couple of men down, and then that's the game, and Warnie's got you.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
yeah.
I had a late night with Sean when he was over here. We did he was doing 24 hours of Donkey Kong at Netherworld, and by the end of the night we were calling dying on the same board twice, doing a kneel, because it just happened every time. If I died once, I was bound to lose another life. I actually get angry at myself for thinking, I've got a good game here. As soon as I say that in my mind, something's going to go bad. So kick myself every time.
Man.
But
that's crazy, isn't it? Because I think we were playing next to each other, Neil, weren't we? When I had my 450,000 point game in the high score part on the Saturday, you were having your best game ever, I think, next to me.
Yeah, that's right. I think
get 300. You were already getting the 300,000s, weren't you?
No, I think I was about 240 then. That was my best at the time. But I've been playing a fair bit lately. Since I've done the Ghosts and Goblins world record, and just in a lead up to try and better my score. But I think for some reason, particularly after number 3, we all kind of got the Donkey Kong bug. I know Luke did, and Luke's proved that if you give it a good amount of time, you can really push for the kill screen. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm really interested to see what you're going to need to qualify, because I think it's just gonna it's only going to go up, isn't it? It's only going to go up.
Definitely.
And although it's excited about our homegrown talent this year, in the future when borders are open and stuff, and we've got 1 or 2 international players taking up spots, it's really going to push it again. So
definitely. Yeah, you're right. It'll be interesting. I think you're looking to get to top 16. I don't know. Should we make a prediction? What do you think?
Sure.
Should we make a prediction? What do you think? I think to get in the top 16, you're going to need 350. I reckon.
Probably more. I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon 400 is going to be sort of the invisible barrier that going to have to cross, which will be a push for me at the moment. I've got to be honest.
But, a push for me.
Mate.
After a couple of pints, you'll be setting a new record for yourself, Taggsta.
If I don't get 400, I'll be very annoyed.
My Kong off prediction will be Taggsta 600k. So
I would like to think so, right? Because if I can get back to where I was, and I don't think it would take too many goes, I would hope that having a weekend at it, or having a Saturday where I can get in and have 3 or 4 goes and feel like I'm having to really focus, then I'm hoping I can do what I generally do and get a PB. So we'll see. But I do need to I'm going to have to warm up a bit more, because there's no point trying to warm up at the Kong off. It's too late.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
I need to get in the zone ready for it, really.
It should be easier to get onto a machine this year, because I know that there's going to be, I think, Dennis, are we about 15 machines, you reckon?
Yeah, between the sort of anywhere between the 12 to 16 machines mark, and it's going to depend on a few different things, but that's the number that I've heard getting kicked around. So
right.
We'll be one of them. Mine will be going over there as well, and I know that there have been a few folks from around the community that have cabinets that have volunteered theirs, and Netherworld and places like One Up and a few others that are scattered around are all going to sort of pitch in, and a few extra are being created as well, I think.
Is
so
David James making a few more, is he? Or?
Yes, Dave and Adam are hard at work. So I just popped by Adam's place this evening before we recorded this, and so he said that with T-minus a month to go that he's sort of feeling the pinch a little bit more to get these things out.
Get it going.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
it's gonna be really great. I think I just can't wait to see just like two rows of DK cabinets just sort of all set up in the function sort of hall or gaming area that's getting set up for this at Brewdog. It's going to be amazing to see.
Yeah, definitely.
With all of those and 60 different pinballs and a whole host of rare sort of arcade games, it's going to be it's going to be pretty amazing.
So
no. Good.
Dennis, will your cab get like scoped over, or are they gonna have a look over it before they just add it to the competition? Like
it's going to have to go there probably at least a few days, maybe even a week, or whenever they can arrange pickup from mine. I don't think I've really got the facilities to be able to sort of bring my cab over there without it getting all scratched up and stuff. So look, I'd expect that when it gets sent to the venue, that they're going to want at least a few days to go and test all the cabs out and make sure that they're all consistent. So I think I think that's sort of what happened with maybe a bit less time available for the last BPAC when it was at the Ekka, because I think they had sort of a certain time frame with the pavilion that everything took place in. So this time I think that it's a bit more flexible, and with more time that they'll have a chance to just do a road test on my cab and all the others to make sure that they're at the same standard, mate. So it'll be a player's paradise. Everything will be good.
Mate. So I wonder if all of them will be running genuine boards, or if there's going to be.
They will.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool.
Mate.
Well, hopefully you got to see the order I put in for Adam, which is Donkey Kong Cabaret.
Yep. Yeah, I saw this the test cabaret cab that Adam had been creating, and he's like, oh, this is just the rough one that I've made. And I looked at it and I was like, this thing's beautiful. Like, are you going to sell this? You're going to sell this thing? He's like, you don't want that. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I'll buy that. Looks awesome. So, and he's like, oh, look at this and look at that. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't notice those things till you told me, man. But even now,
in a dark room, you're right. You wouldn't probably know. I've got OCD with stuff like that as well. So mate, when I watched your video of you doing yours, and you were rollering it and everything as well, and it took me back being outside, roller in mine and painting over it, and I give it like 4 coats. I was like, still a little dark patch. I have to give it. So it's
I've still for the folks in podcast land, I've been putting together a series when I ordered and constructed my cab. I've been putting together a series, and I'm working on video 4 at the moment. I'm expecting it to be a 6-video series. So whenever I can get around to finishing that, because recording all the video and the footage was the easy part, trying to cut it together and make it a decent series. It takes a lot of time. Hey, it's wow. So,
I bet.
That's what Sean was sort of mentioning about that. So but like you say, mate, it is an experience making your own cab as well, and it's sort of it's really cool, and I'd recommend anyone who's sort of keen for the undertaking, that's for sure, because it's great fun. Like, and the finished product is the coolest thing.
You learn quite a lot, don't you, through it and stuff as well, which is great.
Yeah, you learn a lot about Nintendo cabinet wiring.
Sure.
It's just best described as just weird.
Well,
sorry, Neil, go ahead, mate.
No, got anything more to add, Dennis? Or
I'm cool. I think you get me talking about Nintendo cabs, so I get all carried away.
That's all good. Well, I was just going to wrap it up. So thanks for coming on, Sean. It's great for you to come on, especially last minute. But it was really good to catch up and talk about the especially Arcade Perfect and just your experience with Kong Off. And yeah, good luck with Kong Off 4.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks, guys, and the same to you guys as well.
Yeah.
It's starting to whet my appetite for it now. You're getting me all excited about doing it, and I'm trying to calm my jets to not get too hyped up. But you know
Not
what
long
it's
to
like.
go now. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's right. I'm gonna take you. I'll send you a photo probably at the weekend where I'll be grinding on it, giving it a
Yep.
starting to get into it again. So
Absolutely, mate. Give it hell.
yeah. So we'll see how we go. I'll give you an update on a few scores leading up to it. How's that?
Yeah,
Legendary.
sounds good. Chucking in the Aussie Kong Off pals or whatever it's called. We've got a pretty good Facebook group there. So if anyone's keen to join, definitely check out that Facebook page. I think it's called Aussie Kong Off Pals, or it might just be Kong Off Pals now, but I'll put a link into it.
I think it's like Aussie Kong Pals now or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
good stuff.
And
Right,
thanks for joining.
Thanks for having us on, guys.
That's all right. Yeah. Did you have any shout outs, Tagsta, before you finish up, mate?
Shout outs. I should give a shout out to Greg, who I'll be catching up with. He's actually flying in. I think he's flying in from New Zealand. Actually, Greg Pellis this time. We are staying at the same place together, but he's tagging the Kong off onto the back of a holiday. So so he's flying in from somewhere else. But shout outs to him. We'll catch up with hopefully him in a month's time as well. And shout out to Daz and the guys in Melbourne. Definitely. And we'll shout out to all the Kong Off guys. We'll catch up in Brisbane, and looking forward to a cold one and a bit of man competition on Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah,
for sure. All right,
so and hopefully we see a few kill screens, eh?
Oh,
sure
that would be great. That would be absolutely perfect. So I think it's $1,000 if you get it the first kill screen. I might be wrong about that, but
there's a bounty, is there?
Yeah, I believe so. And thanks for joining us again, Dennis. So third podcast down, you're becoming the regular.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure as always. Really appreciate it.
Spacey's Cafe and Arcade in Toowoomba kindly sponsors the Play It Up podcast. If you are ever in or near Toowoomba, we think you're crazy if you don't give them a visit. Spacey's has loads of arcade and pinball machines, retro consoles, and even air hockey. They have an excellent selection of food and drinks for the whole family, and have some great beers on tap. Spacey's is open Wednesday through Sunday, and you can check them out on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with the awesome events they have going on there. Spacey's is located at 2 Club Lane in Toowoomba. Take a trip back to the 80s with Spacey's.